Hi everyone, it's Linda and I'm back with another video because I have two new designs coming out at the end of the month. As of actually filming this video, some of your shops are already getting details. In a few days, all of them will have details via email, so you'll be able to contact them and get your name on a list. So let's proceed. I've mentioned, and you may have seen some things, this year marks 25 years of designing for me as Erica Michaels Designs. And it's been kind of fun to look back on everything that I've done and kind of how everything has evolved. And in doing that, some of my old designs, some of them very early, it's kind of like, oh, wow. They're out of print, and there's a variety of reasons for doing that. But every now and then I have a few that people come back and ask about, both stitchers and shops. And so this time I went back into that vault and pulled out a few. And so I have a new chart pack called Sampler Trio. And it uses 3 of these little samplers that I designed in 2001 and 2003. 2 of them were in a single leaflet and the other was a separate, but they're all 3 now in this chart pack called Sampler Trio. So what I just go through one at a time here for you. The first one, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You can personalize this with maybe a note about your home, initials for your family, when your home might have been established, all those sorts of things. You could also just leave that off and have an even smaller sampler. None of these 3 are very large, and so they will really take not much at all to stitch. I have also kind of refreshed them just a little bit, slightly different fabrics, tweak the colors a little bit. To be honest, I don't even own the original models anymore because I do model sales to shops periodically. So again, I don't even own these models, but I have the records. And so what I have done is you have the refreshed version, and I've also given you fabric and floss information for what I used in the originals. So this is the first one. I kind of shorthand for it is just my house. Sweet little building up at the top with a sun motif that's also partly a crescent moon. And then more of almost a companion. These are the 2 that were together in the leaflet called My House and Country. And this one then is very similar. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. And similar kind of borders. The little house is basically the same, but there are other motifs that are a little bit different. Again, the design is slightly refreshed. Colors are tweaked just a wee bit, and you'll see that flag in the background. That is stitched with just a half cross so that it is slightly less prominent. It becomes more of a background to the house and the tree and the red rose motif. So this one I think of as my country. So My House and Country were an original 2001, I think, leaflet all on their own that had both of these. This new chart pack called Sampler Trio has a 3rd sampler. Also tall and skinny. This is called Seeds in an Apple. Anyone can count the seeds in an apple. Only God can count the apples in a seed. So there's a little row of apple trees at the top. Baskets of apples, apple motifs. Just a simple little design. And like the others, I don't own the original model anymore. So this one has been refreshed just a little bit with current fabrics, current flosses, etc. These are primarily cross stitch. Nothing difficult about them. Again, they're not very large. I would say the only time I use something that would be considered a specialty stitch would be the roof of the My House model. And I'm not sure how well you'd be able to see it, but there are rows of satin stitches worked horizontally for the roof, and it just gives it a little bit of texture. Completely optional. You could just fill it with cross stitches as you like. So all three of these are in the same chart pack. It looks like this. And as usual, it has all the information that you need for these models on the back. But on the inside cover, I've also given you images of the original models. They aren't the highest quality images because it's been a bit since those photographs were taken, and since I don't have the original models any longer, I'm not able to have new photographs made, but this still gives you an idea of what those original models look like. So you get all of that in this new chart pack called Sampler Trio. The other chart pack that's coming out is the general release of a class I did in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas about a year ago. And so it was really, I think we might have had 20 to 25 people in that class. I might have that a little bit off, but we were not a big group. So it's only been those folks that have had this chart to this point. There is an adage, a proverb, whatever you want to call it, that I've always kind of liked that said, in a world of roses, be a sunflower, a bright cherry sunflower. Well, since I was going to Texas, I changed that up a bit, and I changed it to, in a world of roses, be a bluebonnet. If you've ever been to parts of Texas in the spring, you know that there are fields of these bluebonnets in that gorgeous, gorgeous blue color. So this is a little bit of paying homage to that. This design is a drum. So here we go, in a world full of roses. There's actually a sunflower over here. There's all the rose bushes with the different colored roses. There's a bird. And then we come around here and we have some blue bonnets. This is, as you're probably well aware, any of these long, skinny designs that you can make into a drum, you can also easily simply frame them, mount them on a long, skinny board. A couple other options if you're not a fan of making drums. But this is just a really pretty drum, don't you think? It's trimmed with some mini rickrack from Lady Dot. I've used Weeks Dye Works wool on the top and the bottom. Pretty yellow ribbon. And some pins from Just Another Button Company. And all those specs, your shops are going to get the details as to precisely what I used. And of course, they're going to be on the back cover of the chart pack. So this pretty little drum, be a bluebonnet. Now the companion piece to this for the class was a berry. And it features bluebonnets as well. The same little bird is down there. Pretty colorful top treatment. There's another pin from Just Another Button Company. It's actually one of their little pin mini sets that has the little yellow rosebud pin, the red heart, and the monarch butterfly, which if I remember correctly is the state butterfly in Texas, but I could be wrong on that. There are pretty wool jelly roll pins that I made to add pops of color, but the main feature of the top treatment is this wool rosette made from yellow wool for the Yellow Rose of Texas. Lots of ways you could trim this up. I used just pretty green ribbon and added the wool flowers. Again, have fun with this. There's a lot of creativity that you can put in here. So we have a berry and a drum. Pretty with the bows and the top treatment. And it's called Be a Bluebonnet. Now in the chart pack, I harken back a little bit to the original adage of in a world full of roses, be a sunflower. And so on the inside cover of the chart pack, you'll see two layouts. One just shows you the full layout of the primary piece that does feature the bluebonnet. The bottom switches that up a little bit so that the sunflower, we're basically switching places, and then we have the word sunflower under the sunflower motif. So if you want to go back to that original adage, you have this reference point and the chart within the chart pack. So in the chart pack, the charts are both the bluebonnet and the sunflower version. You've got charts for both, so you have that option, and then plus the berry chart. So that is Be a Bluebonnet. One more look for you. Right? Those are my two releases. Just a little small one to kind of keep you thinking and going through the summer months, especially if you're where it gets very hot in the summer and you like to stitch in the nice cool AC, hopefully. I thought I might share just a couple of other things. I was recently at last month, where is it gone? In April, I was in the Kansas City area presenting at Quilter Station. We had a wonderful group. I was there with Lady Dot Creates, Hands On Designs, and Summer House Stitch Works. We had a blast, and a big thanks to Rita and her gals for being great hostesses. We had just a wonderful time. And then as of this video, I've just returned from another trip to the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I did a class for the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. I won't be showing that project for sure because the Guild had a number of out-of-town members for which we're going to do a Zoom, probably in about 3 weeks, I think it is. So I'm not going to be posting any photos or anything of that particular project because we want to keep it a surprise for those folks. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just had a blast with both really great groups. It's always fun to get out and see folks. And then the other thing I thought I would share, which I don't usually, some of you might have heard me say that I do definitely make time for what I refer to as personal stitching. I stitch all my own models, so that's what I'm usually working on. But I find it really is good for me to take a break from models and stitch what I want to stitch just for my own enjoyment. And so I thought I'd share a couple of those things. This one is The Forest for the Trees by Ink Circles. And this one, when I saw this posted just before National Market this year by Tracy of Ink Circles, I just pegged it right away that this is one I would want to snag for my personal stash. And I got right to it and I have really, really enjoyed that. Haven't decided yet if and when I'm going to frame it, but I certainly enjoyed putting that one together. So if you haven't seen this before, take a look. It's called Forest for the Trees by Ink Circles. The other one that I thought I'd show you today, I've actually had it stitched for a little while, but I got back from the framers just a week or so ago. This is from Needlework Press. And Vicki, you have amazing samplers. I love what they do. Her collection is spectacular. And I love that she shares so much of that so that we're able to access and stitch these reproductions. This is her 7 red alphabets. I love my alphabets, and so something like this is just a pleasure for me to stitch, and I really, really enjoyed this one. It is, I think, it's stitched on a 45 count linen, maybe a mystery linen in my stash, but I did use the Tudor silks from Gloriana, the little bit finer silk floss, since it was on the 45 count fabric. But I'm just really, really happy with that. So yes, I do take time to stitch for myself. It's just something, I think it helps me. I think it just kind of lets me step back and kind of do something else apart from my own things and refresh a little bit when I'm ready to come back to that. So these 2 new charts, the Be a Bluebonnet and the Sampler Trio, are going to be in shops at the very end of May. So check with your favorite retailer, online or brick and mortar, and get on their list for these. And enjoy your summer. I've got a busy one ahead, and I need to get busy on all those releases for the fall and holiday season. Believe it or not, I need to get busy on that like now. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye now.